Hi students, it's Ms. Anunci and I'm here to share with you some of the art of the Detroit artist Tyree Guyton, best known for his work with the Heidelberg Project, which you can see a picture of right here. If you listened to Mrs. Nickerson's read aloud last week, she read the book Magic Trash, which is a story about young Tyree. He is still active today, and the Heidelberg Project is doing very well. Here's a picture of what he looks like. And in the slideshow, you can see that I included some updates about what Tyree is doing with the Heidelberg Project, that he is interested in transitioning it more into a community center versus being an art installation. He's actually starting to take some of the things down and move them around into galleries and showing them both locally and out in the greater world. The Heidelberg Project has been something that attracts a lot of visitors to Detroit, and they're very interested in seeing what's going on there. And typically it's a very active place, especially in the summer with kids' education and things like that. We're going to be using the faces in the hood aspect of the Heidelberg Project is part of our inspiration for art this week. And Tyree Guyton, he likes to say that all people are connected together, and he's really well known for taking car hoods, like the hood of a car, and painting his distinctive faces on that. Tyree always made his art out of recycled materials, so I ask you, when you gather your things together, see if you can find some junk mail, or if you can find a magazine that you don't need anymore that you're going to be cutting up and creating your face. If you would like to sketch out the Tyree Guyton face ahead of time, you can do that on a whiteboard just to practice and get an idea of what it's going to look like. But when you make this artwork today, it's going to be something that kind of comes together as you make it. You don't have to do a lot of planning and preparation. It's going to be very spontaneous. So to draw the face in a Tyree Guyton style, you're going to want it to be like when you're looking on a Zoom, where it's just basically a head and shoulders. If you want to churn the paper this way, you can, or you can churn it vertically as well. One of the things that was very common with Tyree's artwork is that he adds things into the background, especially words. So if you'd like to cut out your name or cut out an inspirational phrase to put into your project, you can do that. Mine says "One Love" with the heart representing love off to the side. If you want it to be more just the face, you could turn the paper the other way, and then you won't have as much space in the background and create something different, like you see for my flower lady here. But when you're making the Tyree face, start off with a giant boxy letter U. The characters that he creates tend to be they can kind of squared off and boxy. So you're going to start off with kind of a letter U shape here, and then you can add lines for the neck and shoulders that just run right off the page like this. The person can have hair, or they don't need to have hair. They can be bald. It just is totally up to you. But if you want to make a hairstyle, you can, and just work on the basic shapes. And then for the nose is kind of a geometric upside down number 7 shape. The big distinctive thing is the big grin, big smiles. Sometimes they have teeth that are cross-hatched in there. And then when you do the eyes, you can do just simple football shapes for the eyes, or you can do big round eyes, or you can do glasses, and think about other things that you can add to the eyes as well. So that's kind of your basic shape that you're going to be working with. You have a couple different approaches that you can take. You can cut that big face, that letter U shape, out of its own sheet of paper, and then paste it to your background paper. If you do that, make sure that it's fairly plain paper. You don't want to do something that has a lot of printed material on it, like a full sheet of newspaper, because it's going to be hard to see the details, because they're going to have to compete with the busyness of the background. So you can do that. If you don't have much extra paper, what you can do is you can get a piece of recycled paper, cut it into strips. Just cut it into long, skinny little strips. And then imagine those are a pencil line, and then you can paste those and start to put your face together that way with the little strips of paper and then shapes in between. When you get to the eyes, make sure you use a lot of overlapping shapes. You're going to have the outside shape of the eye. You're going to have the iris part of the eye. You can add eyebrows. And then another thing to think about is texture. So you can create textures in different ways. You can cut things out and then fold them. If you're using thinner paper, just tear it off, crumple it up, and then flatten it back out. And then that will add texture to it as well. And you can also tear. You can tear things and tear the shapes out instead of using your scissors and add all the textures that way. To make the letters, draw the letters out as bubble letters on your paper and then cut them out. So go ahead and get out your scrap paper, cut out strips of paper, cut out shapes of paper, and then overlap and collage them and create your Tyree Guyton face. And then when you're all done, you can upload it, whether you're on Canvas or on Buzz, and I will take a look at it there. Okay, have fun cutting, have fun creating. Don't worry too much about making things perfect or thinking about what you're gonna do ahead of time. You can actually just work on this project, and as you're placing shapes down, you're gonna get more ideas just from using the materials. And you can work on a theme. This lady sort of has a flower theme because I found some flowers, but I made sure to cut them up. You don't want to just cut shapes out of the magazines and then leave them as is. You're going to want to transform them, just how in the same way that Tyree transformed his beloved old neighborhood. Okay, well, have fun. Spend at least a half hour working on this, hopefully, so that you have a lot of details. You don't want to leave it too plain, and I can't wait to see what you make. Bye-bye now.